I bet you were expecting a cat, but this is not a cat. And you could probably tell from the title that I got a dog. So, a few things that I wanted to bring up here. It's been 2 weeks since I made a video, to be honest, and the last video was really Iceland, so it's been a whirlwind. I just wanted to use this video as kind of like a life update because I got a dog, and it's something that 5 years ago I never thought I would get a dog, to be honest. But I'm gonna talk through why I got a dog, the decisions that it came through it, the thought process of it, because I think other people could also relate to this as well. So I wanted to bring that up for full transparency as well. If you have any questions whatsoever, definitely leave comments down below because you know dogs are a lot of responsibilities. The first thing is like, I still do have 3 cats. I still do cat sitting. I still do YouTube. I still have a full-time job. And at a certain point, I wanted to get a dog, and I think it was multiple factors that led up to that. One was that at a certain point in my social life, I've gone to the point where it's difficult to meet up with friends in a way that it's frequent, you know? So, like, I meet them once a month, or maybe, like, finally we schedule some time after work. It's not as frequent as I thought it would be, like, when you're in your early 20s or in college. It's not that hard. It's not that easy anymore, is what I'm saying. And even making new friends is also not that easy. Like, everyone has their own lives. They have their jobs. They're getting married. They have a baby. Distance is difficult. If you're in Queens, you're in Boston, you're in California. Like, at a certain point when you're in, like, your late 20s, that gets difficult. And if you don't have any people in your neighborhood or like in your direct area, it's difficult. Like, I have colleagues that live in Brooklyn, but we work, so sometimes we don't hang out. It depends on who I'm talking about, but we don't hang out on the weekends as much. Mostly it's weekdays just because, like, we're already there. And sometimes we do hang out on weekends, and that's mostly like a birthday party, and I'm gonna have one coming up on October 4th actually. So that's one of the reasons why, is for companionship, because sometimes Addison is like, I don't want to go out, I just want to play games. And I'm like, I just sometimes just want to go to the park and just go walk, you know, do something different, because I like to go outside. I don't like to just stay in at all times. Generally for Addison, his like rule of thumb is like, we go out once in the entire weekend and that's it. For me, it's like Friday, Saturday, I want to go out. Sunday's my errands day. For sometimes he's like, I've like had a really busy week and I just want to stay home the entire weekend. That's not me. So that's one of the reasons why it's like, maybe I could just have a dog and I just go to the park and do whatever I want. It's also more social because my cats, I can't do that, but a dog, I can. Look, he's resting his head on me. So that's one of the reasons, is companionship. Honestly, a lot of people are asking me like, so why do you want a dog when you already have 3 cats? And the biggest thing is really that, because I can't bring my cats out. I can do it in a stroller, but it's not the same. I just wish, like, I wanted that kind of outdoor companionship, like specifically going outdoors. Like, I could stay home, like literally 5 to 6 days of the week. I have my cats that I'm gonna be here for. But like, when it comes to going outside, this is where I have the dog for in this case. The second thing was, honestly, being at the Google office has gotten me very jealous. I see all these people bringing their dogs in, and I'm like, you know, that would be so great to have someone to go to work with and vice versa. But also just in general, like, being someone that has finally, it's been like a week and a half since we've had a dog, going out on walks. Normally I'm like, I don't want to go on a walk by myself. Like, plus, like, I'm a young Asian woman. Walking outside in the darkness is not ideal, but it changes when you have a dog, so it's different there. I would say, however, that like just having that companionship at the office is fun. The culture at the office is great too, because in my direct neighborhood, there's so many dogs there, and I'm like, sometimes like I just wish I had a pet with me. Frankly, I want to bring my cats. I really do want to bring my cats. Cats are just not allowed. Like, I know my cats would do well. I just know that it's also not going to do that great though, because like that means that they can't use the litter box. I'm so sorry for them. Like, they're just not allowed. I did see one cat in the office and they really shouldn't be there. So I'm like, you know, it would be great if I could just bring dogs. So I think at the end of the day, I just love animals. Like, I watch a lot of animal videos of like not just dogs and cats, it's like of rabbits and gerbils and even like birds. Like, it's so cute. So call me a zookeeper already. Like, my brother already named our group chat Zookeeper at this point because I have 4 pets at this point. But one of the things that I did want to bring up as well is like the decision making that came up to this, because a lot of people spoke to me and they were like, Christine, I really did not think you were gonna get a dog. Like, I really didn't think you were there. But then I said I adopted a dog and they're like shocked. So I wasn't completely transparent with every single thing that I was talking about. I've only asked like very small pieces of the conversation directly to the people that would relate the most in. Here's 4 things that I had in mind specifically that were basically barriers to actually get a dog in the first place. The first one was my cats. Are the cats gonna be okay? And when I had my friend's dog, actually my colleague's dog, over at our place, and I'm gonna insert some clips here, I wanted to see how they would handle a dog and then vice versa. Like, how would a dog handle a cat? And then there was a lot of things that came up that I was like, you know what? If I do this, it actually works out very perfectly. If I get a dog crate trained, and I work with Korean Canine Rescue for Riku, who's the dog that I have here, and that already changes a lot. If you are crate trained, it makes things very easy to be able to make sure he doesn't like wreck anything, you know? So when it comes to like wrecking things, he can stay in the crate, he won't poop or he won't pee during that time. Of course, we let him out. Like, actually, like right now he's outside of his crate because I'm here supervising him. And again, we're home most of the time anyways, which is another piece of it, is like we're grandpas and grandmas. We don't go out as often. As I mentioned, like I go out like once a week. And that's like to sometimes meet people. Like, most of the times that once a week is with Addison to do something in the city. But when it comes to like actually hanging out with people or being out to the club or night, very, very rarely. Like, I think maybe once every other week I'm actually hanging out with people, and this is like beyond the work day or beyond the cat sitting clients, so it doesn't count for those kind of things. But when I mean like going out, I'm at like past 10 p.m. Like, we're home already. We're in PJs by 10 p.m. I'm honestly wearing this because I'm filming, but normally I would be in my PJs by now. And that's why I get so many things done, because I'm not going outside as much as people think. They go like, oh my God, you know, like a dog is a lot of commitment and a lot of work. And I'm like, I'm already home anyways. Honestly, I'm not doing much. Like, if anything, the commitment is the cat sitting, and that's something that we can easily commit to because we're just so available. I don't really play games. I only watch TV just to fill time. I mostly do YouTube and cat sitting, to be honest, and frankly, planning the next trip is usually the thing that really is like, ooh, I'm busy now. And then once I'm done, I'm like, well, now what? So having a dog actually keeps things interesting, and it forces me to go outside on walks for the sake of having a walk. Well, in some cases, like you're doing it really just to do a potty break in this case. But like in my kind of way here is that the second thing is, this is the part that was a big concern of mine. Do I get a dog before or after kids? If I get a dog before having kids, then I have the time to train and socialize and make sure that they're all good to go before we even consider having kids. However, if we wait until they're like 4 or 5 years old, like our kids, then it's easier in that kind of way, because then I don't have to go through a pregnancy or be having a baby while having a dog. But at the same time, at that age, like, you're so busy, you're going to school and dropping your kids off, you're making sure that you can make dinner, and I personally don't think I'll have the time to actually do that myself, like the training and the socializing. I was actually talking to my friend Angel the other day. I'm like, I don't understand why I have so much free time. A lot of people, they're always like talking about how they struggle, that like there's not enough time in the day. But I feel like I don't want people to take this wrong, but I feel like that's an excuse most of the time, that like mostly they're either not optimized or not efficient, or maybe their priorities are a little bit whack, because like I get to accomplish a lot, yet I still feel like I have a lot of free time. And so my friend Angel was like, Christine, but you also optimize a lot. For example, you outsourced your cooking. So I don't cook anymore. I used to cook actually, but I outsourced it because it's just the work that comes into it for cooking for just 2 people is very difficult, especially with the schedule that we have. Like, I go to the office, I eat there. I don't cook my food and bring it there. So that already like brings the meal prep in a very difficult way, and like cooking all that. So I outsource that. My video editing has considerably gotten cut down from the processes that I've done. Cat sitting, I like optimize it to my schedule on work and also his work schedule as well. So there's like, I find so many opportunities to optimize that I have so much time in my hands, and I frankly don't want to be spending my time on the TV all the time. Like, I feel like I'm rotting myself away. Yes, I'm doing all the things as well, like learning a language, planning a trip, budgeting my work, my time, my finances. I'm even on the board. I'm planning the offsite. I'm planning 2 offsites at work. I'm doing a lot of things that I'm like, how am I able to do this? But others are struggling. So I'm not trying to use this as a brag. I'm just saying that I have a lot of time on my hands now than ever before. And I feel like when we have kids, the whole thing's gonna change. And that's probably the part where a lot of people are struggling at, is like when you have kids, you can barely do things for yourself. So I'm like, the dog should be now then. And I spoke to a lot of new moms. They are either new moms that don't have pets, or they're new moms that do have pets, and specifically dogs. And I'm like, would you recommend having a dog before and after? And they, mostly of them were like, well, it was difficult to have a dog when you're pregnant, but you have a husband for that, you know? But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I can dedicate the time and resources to do the training when I have a baby or a toddler running around that I have to train as well. So might as well do it now when I have the time, and I can socialize when it gets to that point, and I have like most of the basics down. We also got an adult dog, so crate train, house train, majority of those things, even like the basic vaccines done. We don't have that puppy energy. Like, look at this dog. That's not a puppy. That's not puppy energy. It's very easy for me personally. So it like was a win-win in that kind of situation. The third piece was the cat boarding, which like we do cat boarding still. Actually, there is a cat right now in our bedroom. What we ended up doing is, like, when we adopted him, I told all our clients that are lined up for the year. We've had 3 clients that are lined up for the year that booked us way in advance, and I was very honest with them and said, like, hey, we adopted a dog, but your cat will never interact with this dog. The same way how we're able to handle the cat never interacting with our cats unless the owner wants to, unless the cat is okay with it. Like, actually, the cat in our bedroom doesn't do well with other cats, so she will probably never ever be with our cats, even though we're in the same apartment. She's fine. So in this case, I just treat this dog as another animal in the building, like, and another animal in the unit. Like, we are not gonna have them associated. Our cats still have not met him. Like, they kind of know about him. They met him from afar, but they have not like formally met. So it's been a journey on that kind of way, just to make sure we do a very slow and gradual introduction, and we're not rushing anything, because it is at the end of the day, it's going to be a long-term thing that we're dealing here. It's not short-term like boarding. So the cat boarding, what we ended up doing was just decrease our capacity by 1. And the entire month of September, I'm just blocking us out. The only client we have is in the bedroom, and that's only because I know about her already. We're not gonna have any new clients at this time. It's just too much learning. Then moving forward, frankly, it's possible we will never get boarding again because they see that we have a dog. But you never know, because we have all the cat stuff, we have the rooms, we have our own cats that they could explore. It's just assuming that this door will never be opened. There's only one issue with our cats particularly, is like when there's a cat in our bedroom, our cats are in the living room, because he's in this home office, and most of the times we do swap, so that sometimes the cats come to this room instead, and then he goes to the living room with me. But it's difficult because he needs to go on a walk. So even though there's cats in the living room, it actually makes it even more difficult, because we have to make sure they don't see each other when they're in the living room and we go to the hallway to go walk. So there's like a tag team that Addison and I have, like, if he's walking him, that I'm like at the at the living room, making sure none of the cats are going, or I'm holding the ones that are antsy. The other tactic that we have is that we put him in the bathroom as we like make sure everything is all set up. So that way they don't even get to see each other. So there's a lot of issues when it comes to that, but we're gonna get there. We're taking things very slowly. We're working with a trainer, just to make sure we're taking things in a way that he can handle, but at the same time, like, be able to worry about like actually long term. We don't want to push anything for that exact reason. So cat boarding is the third reason. The fourth reason was honestly vacations. Like, we want kids in about 2 to 3 years, and we're actually optimizing in all the big vacations that we want to do this year and next year. So that's why you saw that giant Asia trip that we have. It checked off a lot of the boxes of like, I want to go to Taiwan, I want to go to Korea, and Hawaii I've been to, but I haven't been there by myself, like without my parents, so I can do things that I wanted to do. And then we went to like all of these places that I wanted to make sure that we went to before we have kids, because this was my whole plan. I'll go into it in very quick, but like essentially when I'm thinking about coming from New York, it's easy to go to Europe, it's easy to go to South America, it's easy to go to Central America, it's easy to go to North America, but what is difficult is Asia, because the flight is like 14, 15, 16 flights. Some of them are not even direct flights. Some of them are gonna be brutally hot in the summertime. So, and that's when kids are done from school. So I might as well just go to Asia now, and then we can prioritize like those other regions later on when it's easier, you know, because in the summertime in London's not gonna be as hot as like Thailand, you know. So next year we're going to Vietnam, Dubai, Thailand, Salt Lake City for a conference, and then in the fall we're going to Greece and Turkey. I know that that's technically Europe, but those are the destinations that I personally don't think we would go with our kids anyways. And then like, I don't know, maybe we do a baby moon in places like Maldives and Bora Bora, which you would never go with kids. That's more of like a honeymoon situation place. So we have this whole roadmap of places that we want to go to before we have kids, just strictly because like the long flights, and when we go it's going to be hot in summer, and we want it to be a long trip, and it's going to be expensive. So that's the main reason why. That was also the big reason why I didn't want to have a dog just yet. I was like, at the very least I wanted a dog after Greece and Turkey, which is next fall, so that way all our big vacations are out of the way. We don't have to worry about that. However, when we were dog sitting my colleague's dog, I was like, we could set up a pack. Like, we can take care of your dog if you take care of our dog. Thankfully, I don't even need to do that. Like, my mom was ballistic when we got a dog, but she was also like, I'm gonna dog sit so much, like, and I want it, because she can't handle having a dog on her own, but she can handle dog sitting because it's short term, it's not our dog, not our priority, not our responsibility. But when she met our dog, she was like, well, this is literally the perfect dog that I wanted. I'm like, I literally told you, okay? Like, because she got a puppy and she's never had a dog before, and she lives by herself, and she works a full-time job in an office. So like, you should not be getting a puppy, okay? Unless you have like a support system and you're working from home and all that kind of stuff. So that's a whole different story of its own. But those were the 4 main barriers. Once I figured out all 4 of these issues, or at least like resolve them or come to terms with it, I was like, there's no reason why I should be rushing. So, but at the same time, there's no reason why I shouldn't be getting a dog now, because the big thing was before kids or after kids. We knew we wanted to get a dog, we just didn't know when. And then when I came to the conclusion that I think it's actually better to do it before kids, I was like, you know what, let's do it. So I impulsively filled out an application Friday of Labor Day weekend. And I think that's the 29th of August. So I impulsively filled out an application for a Korean canine rescue, and I saw the adoption event was on Saturday in Williamsburg, at the Just Food for Dogs pantry there. And we actually came in for Monk Shell, and we didn't see Monk Shell. But when we were there in their little like mobile shelter thing, we looked at their dogs, and Riku, Riley was his name there, was the one that stood out to us because he was very cute and quiet and anxious and timid. A lot of people were like, oh, do you really want an anxious and timid dog? But when you have cats, that's kind of actually what you want. You don't want one that's like jumpy and barky. And that's honestly, those were the dogs I didn't really want. I did not want one that was super excitable. I didn't want one that barked or jumped all over you or had too much high energy. Like, I couldn't handle that, to be honest. It's a lot of work, and it's not something that I personally can handle. But an adult that is very low energy is perfect for us, like for at least a first time dog owner. Personally, I don't think we'll ever have another dog because we have 4 pets. But what I will say though is, like, it hasn't been easy because he's been getting diarrhea a lot. The diarrhea has settled a little bit. He does some resource guarding. We have not introduced him to our cats yet, so even just that alone is a lot of work to just kind of work with our apartment. We did have to also change a lot of our apartment. Like, I had to get rid of the cat tree that was previously here, but it's not like our cats are losing places. There's like 4 other cat trees in this apartment, to be honest, so they're good there. So we did have to make some changes for him. And this is also the dog that, like, Addison and I are 50-50 on. The cats are like 90% me on the prenup, like they're all mine. But when it comes to the dog, it's 50-50 shared ownership and a shared decision. Like, I personally, when we went to the adoption event, I purposely asked him, how are you feeling? I didn't say anything yet. I didn't want to lead him, but I asked, like, how are you feeling? What do you think about him? And he was like, I really like him. I want him. I'm like, okay. Leads the question out of the way that, like, we want him. So that's what happened. We got a dog. I think our biggest thing now is, like, how do we work with the resource guarding, which I think it comes with trust. Once he trusts us, then he won't see that anymore as like, oh, you're taking my food away. If anything, like, we have this whole tag team as well that, like, when I go on the walk, Addison takes the food bowl out, cleans it, and then I actually, before I even go on the walk, we have 2 food bowls. One is like the one that's sitting in the bowl in the crate, and the other one is like the one that we prepare right before our walk. We just have the food sitting in the fridge and we just drop it in there. Like, one person is wiping the paws and taking and changing the leashes and everything. The other person's slipping the food into the crate. Vice versa, we do the same thing with the water. So we also use the bathroom as a way to be able to keep him there while our cats are in the living room as we do things in the crate. So I think we're gradually getting trust in him, and he definitely, I can tell he loves the affection from us. He is a little bit more guarded with other people. Like, he actually growled at my mom because she was just petting him too much, and it was too early, like literally only minutes after meeting her. She's like, what is this weird lady petting me? Like, stop touching me, okay? I don't even know who you are. You need to build the trust. So that's what we've noticed has been an issue, but we are working with a trainer, and at a certain point I just really want to have the cats and dogs cooperate with each other. Like, I know our cats are not going to have issues. Like, they're so used to having animals in our building and our animals in our unit. And even when we came back from the vet appointment on Sunday as well for a cat's annual checkup, we were just waiting to get bagels for lunch, and a dog was right next to them, and they didn't give a shit. Pardon my French, but so we are not worried about them. We're more worried about him. Like, I don't know how long it's gonna take for this, and especially because, like, we are going on vacation in February. I'm just hoping that it's resolved by then. But again, like, my mom is actually going to be dog sitting him, so it's not like she's cat sitting our cats. So that's actually gonna be someone else. So I think we're good. It's just like, it's gonna be a slow journey, and hopefully it all works out. Yeah. So that's our decision about getting a dog. Let me know if you relate to this. Like, are you thinking about getting a dog? I think you really need to think about your capabilities, your time, your effort, your money, because dogs are definitely more expensive. Like, for example, I do not need like ticks prevention or all that kind of stuff for my cats because they're indoor cats, but with him I do. So there's a lot of expenses that come with that, and a lot of thought that comes with that. You need a support system. You need to make sure you're very realistic with your commitments and what you're able to achieve, like the training and the walks and being able to do all that kind of stuff in a way that is not going to hurt him or her. Because you can definitely do anything that you want to do, but it's not going to be beneficial for the animal. So you have to think about, from the animal's perspective, like, is it actually okay to do this? Like, I'm not going to keep him crated for 8 hours straight. You can, but should you? No. So like instead he's outside of my crate, and I am taking insurance though in terms of like having the leash tied up here, tethered, and I'm here supervising. So there's many ways that you can start doing this by starting boundaries, and I think that honestly there's a lot of learning that has to be done on my part as well, because like I'm a master with the cats. I know their behavior, I know what to do, I know I have tactics on working with them. They're frankly smaller and easier. Their bites are not that hard to me, in my opinion. Yes, they're faster. However, with dogs, I need to learn their body language, what I should be doing in situations. Like when they're interacting with something or someone, I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. And the only thing I can do is literally record a video and send to my trainer and be like, what do I do? Thankfully, the only thing that I really shown that was really the resource guarding and potentially introducing our cats. So other than that, a breeze. So hoping it works out. But if you have any questions at all about having a dog or anything like that, just comment down below. Hopefully, maybe this will help you and get to a decision of either you want a dog or you don't want a dog. Or maybe you're at the decision where you're also trying to figure out if it makes sense for you. So comment down below, let me know, and I can help you out and give you some insights. Because I think a lot of times when people talk about getting a dog, they think about puppies, but they're not talking about getting an adult dog that has a particular temperament. They're not all the same. So if you meet them in person at a shelter, it's easier versus if you're just like getting it from a breeder and you're starting brand new. Like yes, you do get to socialize and they get to learn and be a baby and you get to grow with them, but Riku's like 2 to 3 years old. I save time in my opinion because I don't have to worry about him being a puppy and dealing with that. So think about that. Let me know.